On this episode, Adam tries to convince Alex to buy the Pathless with his review. We discuss why Bugsnax are so tasty, and there are several PS5 games out now that no one is talking about. Stay tuned for episode 14 of PlayPS5, the podcast.
Welcome to episode 14 of Play PS5, the podcast. I am Alex here with your boy, Adam. It has been approximately 1 week since the PlayStation 5 has come out, or at least 1 week since we last discussed the launch of the PlayStation 5. We have had a lot of time to play it. And Adam, just overall impressions. You've had some deep dives on the PlayStation 5. I think you got a couple platinums under your belt. How are you feeling? Are you regretting starting a podcast about this console?
I regret starting a podcast on this console with you.
Oh, that feels great to hear. Yeah, thank you. No, what great friends. Yeah,
I know. I love it. Here's the thing. This is the first time I've played with the device more than I've played with myself for a long time. That's why we are playing PS5 and not playing with ourselves. It's fantastic. I am loving it. You're right. I'm 2 platinums deep. I'm in it, big boy. I'm assuming you have no regrets and no buyer's remorse on that cool... I don't even remember how much. What did you say? 700 you dropped?
It was a lot of money. I don't want to count that money. It was spent on a credit card. The credit card was paid off. So we're just going to, that money is gone like tears in the rain, as they would say. I'm not regretting anything, man. It's just a magnificent beast. The PlayStation 5 has been a magnificent beast. Shout out to everybody waiting to try to get one. I know the scalpers are, really sucking it dry out there when you hear a new shipment on Walmart. That's really a shame because I know tons of people out there want to play it, and they just can't. And it sucks that we have these horrible people out there ruining your ability to buy the PlayStation when it launches. But hopefully they just keep on delivering more and more, and you can get around to it. Adam, let's go ahead right off the bat. What's your gamer juice this week, man?
So before we begin with the gamer juice, I have a quick joke for you, and I love it because it ties into everything we're talking about. So I know you're a nerd. You work in medicine, so. I was like, what's a good joke? What did the osteoclast say to the osteoblast?
Oh, I guess we're boned now.
Yep. That's I don't want to. No spoilers here.
No spoilers,
but we're boned. Dude, that is so good. I use that at work all day. And if you don't know what we're talking about, sorry. I will tell you it pertains to this week's episode. Next, Gamer Juice. I'm pretty excited. Voss is that fancy water that costs some stupid amount of money. I found that they have a sparkling artesian water of tangerine lemongrass. So big fancy water, not too much to it, but
that's girl water, madam. They sell that at Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, not Bed Bath. They sell that at Bath & Body Works. Right next to the tampons. The thing.
It smells absolutely stunning. It tastes absolutely stunningly bad. It sucks. Why does it smell so good but taste so bad? I don't got time for this because we have the Pathless to talk about.
Because it's a bath oil. Adam, my gamer juice this week is Raise energy drink. So this just seems like another normal energy drink. It's Baja Lime. Great. I had some other flavor. It tasted like melted Skittles, like these tend to do. I drink these so I can stay up and do a podcast and not fall asleep mid-drink. 0 calories. That's what I'm talking about. It says at the bottom, very small letters, like it's going to be a secret. Rapid hydration. And it even has directions on how to do this. It provides 300 milligrams of caffeine. But then it says, how are you supposed to drink Raise? 20 to 30 minutes before conquering your exercise and or life. So 30 minutes from now, I'm going to be getting my pump on thanks to this Raise. It's got some amino acids. It's not bad. It's not bad for an energy drink. This is good. It doesn't taste like sugar-free.
Well,
I'm going to be lifting your house, bro. All right.
Yes, I love it. Okay, the Power A play of the week. I am so glad that Power A is back.
They're back, baby. Power A is back, baby.
They're back. We actually probably should contact them, see if we can get some more merch.
Just let them know how long we've been running their stuff, so you can get something for the PlayStation 5.
You've given us one PS4 charger, and we've been sponsored by you for, I don't know, 8 months now. Anyhow, the Pathless. It was one of the games that I definitely was very high on coming into the PS5. It was one of my first launch titles that not only did I play, but I recommended that people check out. And so I am here, Alex, because I've even told you it looks like a game that you would like. And then after playing it, I feel even more strongly about that. So I am here to not only review and talk to the listeners about Pathless, but I am here to convince you to purchase the Pathless and to play it, because I truly believe it is a game that you would absolutely love. It is up your alley. And so what would be, I don't know, have you considered purchasing, I suppose? Or
Yeah,
are
sure.
you just so inundated with games that you haven't had a chance really to look at it?
It's the fact that I don't have the game is not a function of my enthusiasm for the game. It is a function of the number of games I already have that I need to play to justify the purchase of them, such as Spider-Man, such as Demon Souls, such as Bugsnax, which we'll get to, and then all these other games that are, improved on the PlayStation 5 that I, as a PlayStation 5 podcast co-host, need to experience. So it's just like, yeah, I want to play it, throw it on the pile. Will I ever get to it? I don't know. I'm glad you got to it so we can talk about it. Maybe you'll, make me feel better about not playing it, or maybe you'll be that push that will make me actually go out and purchase it. But yeah, I know the developer, Giant Squid. They are kind of an offshoot of the people who made Flow and Flower, those really acclaimed games. People who made Journey. They kind of came out of that group, but their big game was they made Abzu, which was a wonderful game in the PlayStation 3 era, a game that I just, in my dreams, would be a VR game where you go swimming. It's beautiful. The music is great. The art direction is great. The gameplay is great and serene, and they do some interesting things. And this is their next generation game they're coming out with. So all signs point to me loving it. But Adam, what are you going to do to either dampen my enthusiasm or bolster it and push me into dropping that cool $40 on it?
Well, trust me. I think you're screwed here, buddy. You're going down. I apologize very much that I didn't mention this before, because we definitely should have before we start diving into this game. It's a very harsh change of topic, but Matilda is on Twitter. That's his name.
Is it goes by Matty Matt sometimes on YouTube, I think.
We love him. He has given us some incredible fan art, and I believe he was on Sculptor VR, and he actually modeled Alex and I. And so I know as a listener you can't see it. We do have a YouTube where I'm probably going to post a picture and some videos about it. But he modeled this in Sculptor VR. It is me and Alex from our logo for PlayPS5. And I just got done 3D printing it. Looks absolutely incredible. I love it. It's a good sized little figure, and I am going to paint it up. I printed it in white. I'm going to paint it up, and I'm going to put it in my game room. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because Alex is currently printing himself as well. Unfortunately, the dolt decided to print it in the same room that he does his podcast on. So when we are quiet, if you hear a little noise, we're going to try to edit it out. But if you hear a little noise, it's not you. Your radiator isn't going nuts. You're not hearing things. It's Alex's freaking 3D printer. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you won't hear it. But dude, Matt. Oh my, I love it. So we're going to probably put a video and really give him props. Yeah. It looks incredible. I'm thrilled.
I'm almost excited about the PlayStation 5 as I am about printing myself. Matt. Thank you so much, man. This is going to be so fun. When mine's done printing, I'll show it to you guys, of course. It's just a work of art.
Alex is also going to drill a hole in his, and well, you can go from there. Okay, the Pathless. Here's the thing. The Pathless, if you haven't been aware, haven't really looked at the game, it's an action-adventure game, and it's centered around a artistic styled plot development. It's a big exploration game, but the movement is fast and dynamic, unlike any other exploration game that I've actually definitely played. I don't know if there's any like it. And then the gameplay is centered more around the journey of the protagonist than it really is about skill. So, a very basic plot is that you play as a character called the Hunter, as she is going through the mythical islands to rid a curse of darkness placed by the antagonist, which is called the Godslayer. There is a large mother eagle who watches over the islands, and she guides the hunter as she lifts the darkness and the curse from four different animals that serve as the protectors of the four islands. So I'm not going to go any deeper than that, but the plot is one of definitely the key features of this game, and that's a basic overview of what the plot is happening. So, Alex, I'm going to begin by bringing up some topics and really dive into why I think this is a perfect game for you. So the first one, and there's no particular order. I'm just jumping around here, and these are things that, as a listener, are definitely would be interesting to you as well. But definitely, again, Alex, for you, you mentioned that you are an adult. You have a plenty of responsibilities. You don't have a ton of time to pour into games like Godfall, like Demon Souls, like Kingdom Hearts, any of those games. So this, for me, and I think for you, is the perfect time length of a game. It is about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much you explore, how long it takes you to do the puzzles. And for me, that is like perfect. I feel like 12 hours is about the perfect game. 6 to 8 is right there in that sweet spot for you. And I mean, I think that for you, because you have so much and you have limited time with kids and things, that's a big draw because you might actually be able to finish this. Am I correct?
Yeah, 6 to 8. That's something doable. I can knock it out in a week, even if I only do like an hour a day, which is what I find myself with sometimes. This kind of game, it sounds like it doesn't want to overstay its welcome, and if it's what I think it is, then it's a game that certainly could overstay its welcome. The other good thing about a short length game that's not too short is that you can replay it if you really want to. I could find myself a year from now saying, the Pathless, let's do it again and see how it feels. Did you platinum the game? That's my question for you, Adam.
I did not. It is a little more involved than the two games that I did platinum. That's the only reason why. It's going to take a lot more time, a lot more exploration, and so it's not off the table. I just haven't done it yet.
How long do you think it's going to take to platinum, if you had to guess?
There are some hidden trophies that I don't know what those are yet. So until I cheat and look up what those trophies are, I think it's hard to tell you, give you a real estimate. I don't know. I would have to look at the trophies a little harder.
But
But
6 to 8 hours got you like a healthy portion of like you beat the game, obviously. Did you feel like you were restrained, like you weren't buzzing through it? You were just kind of doing what you wanted to at your own pace, and it took you about 6 to 8 hours to get that done?
yeah, I mean, and I admit in the beginning, there was a solid hour that I didn't know what I was doing at all. The game doesn't tell you what to do, which I think is both good and bad. Because for the first hour, I was puzzled. I was kind of almost annoyed. Not quite, but I was getting there. Where I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then eventually, I found what I was supposed to be doing, and that certainly helped. And from there, it was just a straight climb to greatness from that point. But the so if you figured it out earlier, or I gave you that little hint, then you would save yourself an hour from there. So it potentially could be, 5 to 7 hours even, which again, I think for you is probably better. So let me talk about the gameplay a little bit and why I think it is good for you and good for a lot of gamers. And that there are plenty of games that they revel in the fact that it's really stressful and it's all about beating down the enemy. And you kind of have to be tight and tense and super focused while playing these games. But the Pathless is stress free, it's relaxing. So essentially, the exploration is built on you traveling across the island in a very quick, dynamic way. And so you hit the L1 button, and that allows you to kind of glide or run very quickly across the land. However, it's almost like a stamina bar. And as you are moving, your bar obviously is going down for stamina. And as you move, there are talismans, which they're essentially just like Joel's little gems or something above the ground, and there's tons of them around you. And the hunter is I guess an archeress. Is that the word?
You
She
could
has a
just say
bow.
archer. We're all about equal rights here. You could just
That's
say
right.
we're both archers. That's it. Yeah.
That's right. She's an archer. And she has bow and arrow. As she's gliding, you're repeatedly shooting these talismans, which give you not only a burst, but then some more stamina, so that you could traverse the whole island in one glide. But you're doing something while you're doing it because you're looking and timing, shooting these talismans. And in general, it's really fun to traverse the island. It really is fun. It's way better. Those big exploration games, the thing I disliked is that moving, like Skyrim, to get to one place to another for the most part is either you got to do it by land or horse, and that's painful, like Shadow of the Colossus, or some of them have like quick travel, but that's not really fun. But this actually is fun. It's a big part of the game, and so you're not only exploring but then getting to the puzzle elements, which I'll mention here in a bit. So Alex, you tend to like those games that are somewhat stress free. Thomas was alone. I don't know why you didn't like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. Res, like these games that are more you sit back, the game comes to you, and it's more of a journey, like the game Journey. All those games you tend to like. So that's why I think this movement, this gameplay, the beginning, what I've mentioned here, is right up your alley. Does that sound something you'd be interested in?
It does, but it's not that I want a stress-free game. It's that I want a frustration-free game. And this certainly looks like it's doing what it can to be frustration-free. I mean, Abzu is a lot like that. You have these wide open spaces you can swim in. It's a whole underwater game, and there's no breathing mechanics or anything like that to make it less frustrating. The idea of the interactive locomotion, I guess you would call it, sounds really good in theory. I'd have to play it on this to know, but playing Spider-Man, that's one of the things. I just love swinging around. I love traversal in that game because it's really fun to just swing around and, like you said, time your movements, hit the right buttons to get a boost. So this sounds almost like they made a ground-based version of that with the talismans that you're shooting arrows at. I guess my one concern is looking at videos, all the environments seem pretty flat. And so I'm wondering, does the traversal get boring? Because like in Spider-Man, you're varying elevation. Sometimes you're just doing like a quick zip pull. Sometimes you're doing like a vault boost. Sometimes you're like trying to swing or you can't swing because there's nothing above you. Is there variation in the traversal here, or is it always just like hit L1, then hit R2, then hit L1, then hit R2, and you're going fast and you're traveling for a good 10 minutes doing that? How does it stay fresh?
Yeah, so there definitely is tons of climbing to the point where those are my least favorite parts because they actually require you to think a little more. The timing is more crucial. You have to use your falcon a lot or your eagle a lot more. And so, yeah, probably the gameplay you're looking at, it's a little easier probably to stream or to create a video with flat environments because you actually look like you know what you're doing. But yeah, two of the islands without a doubt are steep climbs up. You really got to use your eagle almost constantly, and it definitely varies. And a good thing about the movement, like you mentioned, so you hold L1 down while you're timing to hit the talismans. And if you miss some, because it's not just, oh, you hit R2 or you hold it for a second and you're good. You actually legitimately have to time it. And if your timing is off, you're going to miss it. And then you lose some of that stamina. And I mean, there's points where, okay, I didn't hit enough of them. I've run out of stamina. And now you kind of have to walk until you hit some talismans, get more stamina, and then you can start gliding again. So it's not as mindless as it sounds, but you get into the groove to where it is very quick, but it's not taxing doing it at the same time.
So I know you're about to talk about the music here in just a bit. To that end, though, is the traversal kind of rhythmic? Because what I'm feeling like this is gonna, what I'm sensing is that this is almost like that game for the PSVR. What's it called? Where you're the little beetle, Thumper. Does it feel kind of
Oh,
like Thumper, except without a real penalty for getting the timing wrong? Is it something like that? Because if a game had the traversal that felt like Thumper, that would be a phenomenal game. I'd have so much fun playing it.
yeah, no, it's not like that. There's
Damn
definitely
it!
music. I know there's music in the background and it's very fitting for the environment, but it's not like every time you hit a talisman, there's some interaction with the music. It's not like that. But the music, while you brought it up, the normal exploration aspects of it, the music I would say is very good. It's fitting for the island. I mean, I think it just suits the game very well. But really, where the music is crucial and where it really hit me hard is during the boss battles. That music really ramps up. It starts getting quicker. It just, it's incredible. I'm not a huge music person, so I don't really know the musical terms start dropping on you. But you can watch one boss battle or even watch the trailer. I have a what I did even, and I gave credit, so please don't come at me too hard. First thing in the description, I gave credit, but I made a review on YouTube of the Pathless, and I put one of those, I guess, boss battle musics songs in there, and it's so good. It is so good. It is incredible. So it creates that thrilling atmosphere. It completely changes the entire tone of the game, and it's wonderful. Absolutely. I think the music even won awards. I would have to check which ones they won, but that you will not be disappointed. If you like Near, if you like, Kingdom Hearts has like words in it, so it's a little harder, but like it's on the same level. It is incredible music. So you're gonna like that, Alex. And I think for that relaxing and stress free, frustration free experience, that also plays a big part in it.
You had to say, if you had to pick a side for the music, we're looking at it's either more like Shadow of the Colossus or more like Kingdom Hearts. Which side of that spectrum do you think it falls on?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, really good, because I really don't want Kingdom Hearts music.
I hate you
I don't
so
need that
much.
kind of stuff in
There
my
is
life.
every
Yeah.
I hate you, but what I don't hate is the variety of gameplay they have. So I told you back in one of the first podcasts, we had a master debater on whether Godfall or the Pathless was going to be the best launch title. And I told you one of my strong points there was going to be, even from just seeing the trailer, the variety of the gameplay. And that played to fruition here when I actually played the game, because obviously part of the game is exploration. I already talked about that, big part of the game. And then the exploration leads into the fact that you're trying and you're exploring to find different puzzles that allow you to find like these metals, which unleash various lights on top of towers that together will allow you to see the boss. So I think that is awesome. So the exploration leads into puzzles, which the puzzle aspects of the game again is to find the metals. And they're relatively simple. They're not like so simple that you're going to just be like, oh, this is stupid, this is a joke. But it's not so hard. There were only like maybe two of them that really had me stumped. But within 10 minutes, I kind of figured out what to do. It was for me, the perfect challenge and for the type of puzzles, because they're too hard, they're annoying. This wasn't like that at all. So, for those, a lot of it, and you have to engage switches, or you have to use your eagle to pick up certain things and drop them in different areas. You have to shoot arrows so that it hits fire and then hits like another beacon, things of that nature. And then we have the boss fights, which are the most enjoyable by far. So I want to talk to you about the boss fights, because not only is this my favorite aspect of the game, but there's no way it's not the best aspect of the game. It is incredible. First, you hunt down the animal as it's attempting to run away from you. That easily the best part of the game for me. It is an absolute friggin' thrill. I mentioned that music. Well, it ramps up. And in your heart, you feel it, the atmosphere. You have fireballs coming down at you. You have trees and other obstacles in your way that you have to dodge, all while you're, again, having to glide and shoot the talismans to keep your stamina up. But then you're chasing this humongous animal, and you just slowly get to it. It's not like you're way faster so you catch it in a heartbeat. You really have to plan. Your timing has to be good. You have to dodge. You just slowly creep up to take the animal down. It is, holy crap, it is incredible. And then after you finally catch it, you shoot it a few times, and then there's a one-on-one boss battle. And that has varied gameplay because each boss has a different method of destroying it, and it puts you in different atmospheres and different environments that you have to utilize various things around you in order to take it down. So the boss battles are fantastic. That hunting them down is maybe the most thrilling PS5 experience I have had yet. Not saying it's necessarily the most quote unquote fun, but it's the most thrilling that I've had to this point for the PS5.
Are there any non-boss enemies? Because this game is sounding a lot like Shadow of the Colossus, which you hated for some reason. Are there any just minor enemies that you fight, or is it just the 4 bosses?
No other bosses.
So is there when you're not fighting a boss, there's no combat in the game?
Correct. It's exploration and puzzles.
So for the exploration, is there much like backtracking, which maybe wouldn't be an issue if the traversal is fun? Do you find yourself retreading the same ground a lot?
So when you explore to find the puzzles, which again lead you to these medals that unlock beacons of light that allow you to the boss, depending on how good you are, you're probably gonna have to backtrack. Like several times I missed one. And so then I had to be like, oh, you have like a spirit vision that you could look and it highlights important things in the land. And so sometimes I just missed one, or so yeah, there's a little backtracking unless you're just really good at, finding them and not messing up in terms of where you are and dissecting the map. But yeah, not much, not to the point where it's annoying. And again, that movement is fun.
Okay, I mean it sounds just like Shadow of the Colossus, but tell me.
It's not, because here's the difference. Shadow of the Colossus, the bosses were friggin' annoying and they took long and they sucked. I hated it. But the bosses aren't annoying. And Shadow of the Colossus, I just wanted it to end. That's not how I felt with this game, because I've never for once felt like I was having a thrill in the Shadow of the Colossus. Here, when you're hunting down that animal and it's running away from you and it's this huge, majestic, demonic beast, it is. I don't know. I've never experienced. I guess maybe it's because I don't hunt. So then when I've actually had to hunt something, it just, oh man, it got me going. I'll put it that way.
Well, then next up to talk about then, Adam, is the plot. So I liked the plot of Shadow of the Colossus as as little plot there was. I liked the way they used it. Also, Abzu was very similar. That it's not very heavy-handed. You kind of pick up the plot subtly. Not many words exchanged. You just see what's happening and you interpret what's happening. How's the plot handled in this game?
So the plot is definitely more than Shadow of the Colossus. I've never played Abzu, but it's kind of almost a typical story of, you have this seemingly weak hunter and she's against the world. She overcomes the odds with her pet eagle that she's bonded with, and she's in this, saves these mythical islands. Maybe it's not the most original, to be honest, but it's told in a very artistic way. And definitely by the end of the game, it resonates with me. I'll admit, I'm not the most cultural dude. When you start getting into like different cultures and the way they view life and things of that nature, I'm very limited, and oftentimes I don't resonate with those. But for this game, I did, and by the end, I felt connected to the story and to the hunter. I wanted to see how it finished, and I wanted to defeat the God Slayer, not just I'm playing as the hunter who wants to defeat him. So I think that is definitely a huge plus for the plot. And so honestly, I think you, Alex, because you're a big old baby, you would probably cry as the bond between the hunter and the eagle. Obviously that is tested, and each one fights through adversity. There's success, there's sacrifice. You're a baby. You've cried for a lot less, and I think you would go down in this game unless you grew a pair since the PlayPS VR podcast.
So here's one thing that kind of concerns me about the plot here. There wasn't much plot in Abzu, like I said, and it seemed like it had a big plot, like a big story, big things happening, but it wasn't too heavy-handed. But it wasn't really a motivating factor either. When I think about like Shadow of the Colossus, I really enjoyed the plot there. It's a big stuff happening. You're facing these giant beasts, but then there's that little personal element that it brings you back after you kill every boss. Brings you back to that personal element where it teleports you to being in front of that woman you're trying to bring back to life. Here, I'm worried that there's going to be no personal element. And so you have this big story happening with this big thing. You're fighting these big beasts. And then I'll feel too distanced and disconnected from the protagonist to where it's like, I really don't care if he wins. I'm just playing a video game and enjoying the music. Was there, I mean, it sounds like maybe they try to give you that personal connection with the eagle, but I still feel like I'm burned from whenever I played Falcon Age, where you're supposed to have this connection with the eagle, and I just freaking hated it. And I felt no connection at all, and nothing seemed to work. I'm wondering, it seems like it's going to be hard to make me have any kind of feelings for this eagle, although I've kind of felt for the horse and Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know. Seems like you have felt this connection, and they pulled it off well. And I know you have a hard time feeling any kind of emotion. So maybe I need to give this a chance, but it's certainly not something that I'm expecting out of this game.
Yeah, I think the big difference between this and Falcon Age is I don't want to give, any spoilers or anything, divulge too much about the plot, but you see where there are downfalls and sacrifices and failures of the eagle. And so that, I think, helps. It's kind of like almost in Last of Us 2, where when oh crap. Can I give somewhat of a spoiler there? Is there anyone who doesn't know what that game is about now?
It's probably just best to not spoil Last of Us Part 2, man.
On.
I know. I just don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Somebody did that to me with No Man's Sky, and I hated it. Just let it be, man. We don't got to talk about that game.
So say you are playing as a player, and there's a secondary character that you love, and then you see them get brutally murdered. And you
great cover there, Adam. My God.
Thank you. And I don't know what you're talking about. I just made that hypothetical scenario up. So
in a way, I feel like you're spoiling the Pathless as well. Just
no. It's not. This is totally hypothetical. Anyhow, because that secondary character endured hardship, even though you weren't even playing as him necessarily, you felt connected and you wanted to see that person or that character succeed. It's the same way with the eagle. There's trials and tribulations, and you want it to succeed, especially because, for a large part, you have to play with it to advance in the game. So I don't think that will be you use it more than you probably use a horse in Shadow of the Colossus. You just ride the horse. It's not like you pet the horse, you don't feed the horse, you don't do anything with the horse you said you felt connected to it. So I don't think that would be an issue for this game for you.
Okay. Okay. I pet the horse. I had a good time with the horse, but
whatever. Okay.
It's not going to be a sticking point. It's not going to keep me away from the game. I just don't have high hopes for that.
Just play it because you will feel it. I know what makes you feel things, and that will. Okay, the game is very good, but it's not perfect. So the two sticking points here are, first of all, I don't even know if it's a sticking point, but something I should really discuss. So the game is $40, and for a 6 to 8 hour experience, I feel like $40 is a little steep. It's well developed. It ran perfectly on the PS5. It is gorgeous. Like I've already talked about all the great things about it. So you're getting a good game. I think $30 might be like the perfect price point. And then anything less than that, it's essentially a must buy. So that's where I sit on the price. That I don't know if that's a factor for you, but since we're kind of on the rocks with Godfall, if you sell Godfall back, you then just got money and extra to get the Pathless. So there's only one part of the game that I found incredibly annoying, and the only thing that I found frustrating, but thankfully there's a little, not a cheat, but so essentially what happens at various times when you're exploring the land, you have sections where the beast that, again, is under the darkness curse comes out and he attempts to find you. It's very obvious if you're watching gameplay. It's areas where everything is red and you're stealthily moving. So what happens is the beast finds you. I guess it shrieks or something, and the power makes the eagle fly off your arm. So then you are going to go and pick up the eagle. And to do that, obviously, you have to stealthily get to the eagle, but in the way is this monster that's walking around, and it has a gaze. So you can't move when it's looking at you, it sees you and then it attacks you. So, but the issue with this, it sounds like it's a good way to vary the gameplay, but the issue is that one, it is entirely too slow. Two, the hit detection is way too sensitive. And if you're caught, essentially the animal attacks you, and there are gems that you collect through the game that raise a certain meter that allows your eagle to flap in the air one more time. But that's it. So you lose those gems, but that's it. So there's no game over in this game. I didn't lose. I'm sure there were a couple bosses I got rocked on, but I still never lost. So I don't know if you can lose. So the issue with this portion is that definitely by the end of the game, that section where you have to avoid the gaze of the beast is so painstaking and so slow and so painful. I didn't even try. I intentionally moved. I just took the loss of gems. That way I didn't have to play it anymore. I'm telling you, it is bad. I don't know what they were really. I think I know what they were thinking. Just the execution leaves a lot to be desired. So if you play the game, and for you, Alex, I suggest try it for the first few times and maybe you'd like it. But if you don't, just lose some gems, don't waste your time, and get on with the game. So that's really the only portion of the game I didn't like. Any questions about that? Any questions about price? Any other random questions you may have?
So, $40 is a little expensive for what it sounds like. 6 to 8 game. I don't mind dropping that on a game that I'm really going to enjoy. So maybe that's worth it there. My big concern about paying money for this game is I could totally see it being a PlayStation Plus title like next month. It's just small enough and just niche enough to where people are going to gobble it up if it's the next free game. So as much as I want to buy this game, part of me wants to wait until December to see what the free PlayStation 5 Plus game is going to be.
I mean, they wouldn't make it that soon, right?
I mean, they did it for Bugsnax. I mean, it's a PS4 game already, and now it's on PS5. So it's exactly like Bugsnax, where they would make it a free game, maybe, because it's better to do that than to do Godfall or something that might be making more money. And maybe it didn't sell as well as they had hoped. I don't know. I've heard very little hype for this game, aside from you. Although the things that I've heard about this game sound really good. Regarding the gems that you lose, are there infinite gems out there so you can grind gems if you lose a bunch during the stealth section or something like that?
So there are different puzzles and different, like, they're kind of just hidden. Some of the puzzles you can solve and they give you those gems. And so they're not infinite. You got to work for them. But once you spent 30 minutes on a puzzle, when you earn gems, you don't really want to lose them willy-nilly. But for me, there was a point where, I had 5 flaps in the air and I didn't need any more than that. And so then I was like, okay, it's not worth collecting them. Also, something I figured out. So there's a meter that once it fills up, you earn an extra flap. So, and that's what they call it. It's just, the eagle flies one more flap in the air. So once you get a flap, obviously your meter is really low. So if your meter's already low, then it really doesn't matter if the animal finds you and attacks you because you don't even have any gems really to lose. So that was the best case scenario, is that, I had very few gems. I was like, I don't give a crap. Hit me, big boy. And so, yeah, you work for them, but it wasn't such a precious commodity that I felt that it was a big loss by not playing the game as it should be.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Demon Souls where you save up all these souls, and if you die, you lose them all. But if you just level up, then you have no souls to lose, but you still maintain that new level that you took. So you're motivated to get a new level before you start venturing out into some new area. I could see that kind of give and take here. So Adam, I didn't watch all your review. I don't know if you gave it a number score at the very end. What would you give this game out of 10 if you had to do it? I know we don't normally do this for the reviews. I'm just curious though, like how it would stand in your pantheon.
Yeah. Oof. See, it's also relative that I gotta think back. I'm gonna start going by PS5 games now. Okay.
Yeah, start rating up PS5 games. Yeah.
So I would say it's such a different game. That's the issue. Because nothing about it is necessarily quote unquote fun, but it was very enjoyable. It's better than Godfall, definitely. I would say it's more fulfilling than Astro's Playroom. Like Astro's Playroom had more detail, and there were more things that made me smile in Astro's
It's
Playroom.
cotton candy. It's cotton candy.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but yeah. Bugsnax is kind of the same as Astro's Playroom, but a little worse. So I would say if I had to rate it, 7.5 and 8, probably between there.
That's what I was expecting. Yeah, that's fair
Yeah,
enough.
so it's good. It's not one of those games that are going to go down in history, but it's definitely a very solid game. I definitely enjoyed playing it. And as you mentioned, I think it is a game a year or 2 years later you can go back to. I'm starting to like those games that you can just enjoy and it's not too horribly stressful. Like like Godfall is a lot more stressful. You go out and if you don't want to lose, you got to worry about button combinations. Demon Souls is incredibly difficult. Like there are all these games that are difficult, and it's just nice to have one that you don't got to worry about dying. You don't need to worry about too much. You can just relax, enjoy the music and the atmosphere. So if you're listening, I strongly encourage you to look at the Pathless. I absolutely enjoyed it. It is a game that I will consider platinuming, especially if there are no other games to cover and I'm not obligated to play anymore of the other games. So Alex, I hope I convince you. Where are you right now before we end the segment? Where are you in terms of potentially purchasing and playing this game?
I really want to play it. I really want to purchase it. Time is the factor. So it's going to really depend on if I can finish Miles Morales like this within this next week. And if I do, and I'm wondering what the next big game on the horizon is, that's it. If I can finish Miles Morales before Cyberpunk comes out, and that gives me time to play this before Cyberpunk comes out, then I'll purchase it. So you probably just need to shut up, Adam, and let me get to playing Miles Morales so I can turn around and start playing this game too. Also, give me the password to your PlayStation account so I can mooch off of your games.
Haha, you wish. You're going to have to pay for it for full price. Okay, folks, thank you so much for this first segment. Pathless, again, definitely check it out. But here's what we got. Segment 2, we're talking about Bugsnax. And then segment 3, I'm going to talk about the 2 platinums I got. I still want to talk about Astro's Playroom. And then there's surprisingly, Alex, a lot of other PS5 games that are on the market that I didn't know about because I think they slide under the door as maybe PS4 games, or maybe we have the blinders on because of all these launch titles. There is more goodness out there. Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about those games as well.
Welcome back. That's enough, Adam. Enough talking about the Pathless, which I haven't even played. I want to talk about a game that I have played. Surprise, surprise, everybody. Alex beat a game. That game that he beat was Bugsnax. And Adam, if I remember correctly, you just recently platinumed this game as well, right?
Oh, yeah. It was the first platinum for the PS5.
The first platinum for the PS5, Bugsnax. Yeah, so we're going to throw back a little bit, do the PlayPS style review, so I have a little bit of more of a guided discussion, so I don't ramble as much. But right off the bat, Bugsnax, if you haven't heard about it, it's published and developed by Young Horses, the development publishing company behind the Octodad series. Adam, have you played Octodad?
Nope, but I like Bugsnax, so I may pull the trigger.
Yeah, I always saw the series. I heard decent things about it. It seemed like it was going to be funny, and I just never played it. Having played Bugsnax, yeah, like you, I'm probably going to take a better look at it. Bugsnax came out. It's a PlayStation 4 game, but it also is out on the PlayStation 5. And if you have a PlayStation 5 and PlayStation Plus, it is free, which is probably why both of us have played it and beaten it. If you don't have PlayStation Plus or you're getting it on the PS4, it is $24.99. Or if you have a friend who has PS5 and you're sharing an account with him and he gets it for free and you only have a PS4, that PS5 version will then allow you to play on the PS4 under the same account. So it's kind of complicated.
Why would they only make it free for the PS5 people? That's a pretty D-bag move.
I think it's to incentivize people to get a PlayStation 5 as if they didn't already want to get one. But then right off the bat, let's dive in. Bugsnax. It's a kind of a popular game, got a push behind it and some of the initial marketing of the PlayStation 5. In this game, what is it about? In this game, you are a journalist who has traveled to Snacktooth Island in order to follow the esteemed Elizabeth Megafig, an explorer who created a new civilization on the island to study the creatures called Bugsnax. These are delicious creatures who are half animal, half food. Adam, did you write this or am I reading a promo?
Oh no, I wrote that baby.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I love this game. The favorite thing I like are the Bugsnax, which I guess duh, because they're little guys. Like, for example, we'll take the Frieders. They're pretty much a bucket of fries, but then the legs come out, the fries come out to look like a spider. And so I think that's absolutely incredible. You get on the island, you're trying to find out what happened to Elizabeth, and then there's a town called Snacksburg. All of the inhabitants have kind of scattered out for little different reasons, and you're trying to bring them all back. So that is your job. Bring back the inhabitants of Snacksburg, find out where the explorer is, and along the way, catch a whole lot of Bugsnax.
Yeah, and so in this game, you're not a person. You play as a member of this race called the Grampuses. I think that's what it's called. Grumpuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a guy in it named Wampus, which got me confused because you're the Grumpus. Anyways, they all kind of look like a Sesame Street character or something like that, like a variant of Grover if Grover didn't have a neck. So you're playing these kind of like puppet-looking creatures, which is fine. And I can get into why that's a bit interesting later. But yeah, just right off the bat, you're kind of these weird creatures. They almost look like monsters, and you're catching these Bugsnax. It's a really fantastical, fictional environment. But it works well. So on to the next question. How does a game control? One thing that I was surprised about when I first played the game, because I was planning on playing this game with my daughter. It looked kind of precious and cute and things like that. It's a first-person game, first-person, adventure type game. So you got to be deft with the dual analog sticks. You got to know what you're doing. So it's not a third-person game. That's basically the crux of it. It's all first-person. You take some, you have a little camera. You can take some pictures of Bugsnax. You get some tools that help you catch these Bugsnax. You have traps that you set in place, and the Bugsnax go into it, and you hit a R2 button that triggers the trap. You get other things like a grappling hook that can grab them from afar. You get a launch pad, but the majority of the game is you setting something down and activating whatever trap is there or waiting for it to get hit and thinking of ways to make that happen. I think that's most of the controls in the game. How did you feel like it utilized the DualSense, Adam?
I mean, I think it was fine. When it rained, you could feel that little different pulses around the controller as though it were raining. I think the utilization of either the little buttons, I don't know. I don't think it was a DualSense showcase, but I don't think it had to be. I think controls were pretty good. I have no issues. I want to start talking about the good stuff.
We will. I just want to bring up the DualSense because it wasn't a DualSense showcase for you, and it's not meant to be a showcase, but it was one of the times where it's like an average game, a game that was made on the PS4 as well. Just a typical game you wouldn't expect to be a showcase, but I thought it really did a good job of being enhanced by the DualSense. When I'm walking around and I feel like the thud, thud, thud with each footstep, because the DualSense controller is so good at conveying that, and I could feel the different ground that I was walking on. I thought it was very effective. The other thing, I thought the microphone was great. When you catch a Bugsnax, outside of the speaker on the controller, outside of the speaker, you hear the Bugsnax say its name as you catch it. So you catch a Strabby, the little strawberry, the first one, you catch it, and then you hear out of the speaker, Strabby. And it's a nice little touch. It adds to the effect of catching the Bugsnax. That was just a nice little surprise.
That actually is, I did love that, but this is horrible. I mean, but whatever. Does the DualShock, did it have a speaker?
The controller for the PlayStation 4 did have no, it didn't have a speaker. It had a microphone. Well,
yeah. So I don't think, you wouldn't get that. So I take it back. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because that really did. It was so adorable. And, like, Bunger. It's so good. I love it. Yeah. That aspect was clutch. So yeah, way to go, Young Horses. Good utilization of the controller.
Yeah, next question on the list is, what is the main gameplay loop? We also have price and length. Okay. It's the length. It's about I think I finished it in 5 hours. It's about a 9 or 10 or 12-hour game, something like that, if you want to go for the platinum like Adam did. But one thing I want to get right about the main gameplay loop is when I saw preview trailers of this game, I was thinking, it looks almost like Pokemon Snap where you can run around freely. And that makes sense. It is kind of like that, kind of puzzle-ish like that. But to me, the part of the game I enjoyed is it's almost like a visual novel. adventure game where you're unraveling stories. So there's almost like two games happening at once. A game where you're trying to maintain relationships and get to know people and kind of solve puzzles of what's happening in town. And there's a whole separate game where you're trying to catch these bugs, these Bugsnax, and think of creative ways to catch these Bugsnax and solve problems like, oh, that one's on fire. How am I going to put out that fire so that it doesn't burn up my trap and I can catch them? So there's two different games happening here, and both of them are executed very well. I think one of them is executed better than the other. I enjoyed one of them better than the other. We'll get into that later on. Am I missing anything about the main gameplay loop here, though, Adam?
I mean, if you want to simplify it, essentially you go out, you talk to people, they have a side quest that they want you to do. It may be catch Bugsnax so that they can bury them in their yard to see if they'll grow. It may be collect certain Bugsnax to put in their little, I guess, petting zoo of Bugsnax. It may be a certain one is hungry and wants a certain type of food. And so that is the main gameplay loop. You talk to the people, they tell you what to do, you go out and do it. I will admit it resembles fetch quests very closely, but because the relationships have enough in them and the Bugsnax are fun enough to catch, that fetch quest type of gameplay doesn't inhibit the game at all.
Yeah, I could see somebody calling it a fetch quest. In a sense, you almost call every game a fetch quest if somebody's telling you to do something and you go do it. But Adam, I do want to know now, moving on to our next set of questions, what is your favorite Bugsnax in a game? There's a whole lot of variety, a lot of clever creatures mixing food with bugs, and that's one of the more enjoyable things is discovering a new Bugsnax. But Adam, I don't think it's going to be spoilers to say these Bugsnax. What is some of your favorites that you had?
I can't even, dude. I almost love them all except the really annoying ones. So definitely, I think the bunger is pretty funny because he just bunger, and then the barbecue bunger.
What's the barbecue bunger? I don't think I saw that one.
No, you definitely did. It was in the where you met Crodo or Chromdo or whatever.
Okay, so he's that one that was by himself on the top of the like plateau thing.
Yeah, with the bridge. And the barbecue bunger is the same, but he's really aggressive. So he comes at you hard.
Every time I went up there, I was sprinting because I knew he was chasing me. He'd follow me across the bridge. He'd follow me everywhere. My only way to get away was to start a conversation with Crodo or whatever his name is, and I knew that he wouldn't then hit me if I was in the conversation. But yeah. He's an aggressive little buddy.
I love him. Then I think definitely all the bees, Raspy, Strawby, White Strawby. The thing that I really liked is they, like Bunger and Barbecue Bunger, come on, they're the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But Barbecue Bunger makes me smile. There's a Strawby, and then there's a White Strawby, and for some reason I was like, I need that White Strawby, and a Black Raspy. Like they change very minute things about some of these, but it's completely different, and it really gives you a joy catching them. I like Cinnasnail quite a bit. I like. Most of the flying ones I thought were pretty annoying, but like Cheese Poof, he's like Cheese Poof. Like, oh man, I could go down the whole. I literally have like 20 of them. I love, but I'm not gonna do that. Alex, you tell me which one do you like, or which one stood out to you the most?
I think the way that I would best describe it isn't which one I enjoyed the most. They were all kind of cute and funny and clever. I think there were some that actually just looked more delicious. If I were to be honest, more delicious than others. And I think it was there's a praying mantis, the picantis. Is that it? It's a praying mantis is on fire. He's actually made up of a bunch of different food. So when you finally stun him, he breaks up into like 4 different pieces of like a cheese poof and a couple tacos and something like that. But he looks real delicious. I think that was my favorite one, kind of a surprise that I ran into. There's that whole desert area, the scorched earth or whatever it's called. There's a ton of really interesting ones there. That's where you find the Black Raspy, and it's one of the last areas you go. And I think it's obviously there just for you to really, have fun catching a lot of different Bugsnax. But yeah, there's some clever ones out there.
I mean, just all of the, they're so freaking clever. You got the Charmallow, you got the Cheese Poof, the Cheery, which is just a cherry, Cheeser, you got Chippy, Cob Hopper. There's a piece
Oh,
of
you're just
corn
reading them
cob.
off a list now.
Yeah, I mean, like they're just so clever. I really do. Fantastic idea. To inch wrap, inchurrito. I mean, you can just keep going. They're so funny
It's
and they're
making me hungry,
adorable.
is what it is.
It makes you hungry, but you got to fight through. Like the one thing, all the different peel bugs. There were 4 different peel. I didn't really think you caught them the same way. They looked the same, just a different color. But whatever. Big fan. I love those. So, Alex, I think we might like different things. But what was the thing that you liked most about Bugsnax?
Yeah, I mean, talking to you, Adam, I know how we like different things in games, and I think you like this game for a different reason than I do. And like I said, there's like 2 games happening here. So the thing I really found myself enjoying about this game, the bug snack catching was interesting, but it seemed like a reason to just have some gameplay outside of advancing the story so that you're not just standing in front of people hitting X constantly to get things done. I found the story really engaging. I found the characters really interesting. And there's like a subtle irony here where you have these obviously not human characters doing these obviously not human things. It's like I said, like puppets from Sesame Street are the characters, but the voice acting is very well done and the character development is very well done. And although the most inhuman things on the game, the emotions at play and the problems that people are facing are very, very human problems. Just relationship problems, people, having trouble with spouses, having trouble with friends, having trouble feeling accepted, and having trouble staying together. All of these things were very well written, and they were written with like enough whimsy to make you feel like it's okay to not take it this seriously, but also written with enough depth to it to where, yeah, I could really, if this is what you're here to enjoy, you can enjoy it. So I loved talking to all the characters. I liked interviewing the characters. Every character, when you get them back to the village, you have an opportunity to interview them. And you're just asking them questions and letting them talk about themselves in their own style. And there were characters that I was always like, this character is going to be really annoying. Like Wiggle. There's a character named Wiggle who's just dancing and singing the whole time. When I first saw her, I was just, oh my God, it's so annoying. But in the interview process, like, you know what? I've come to appreciate this character. The interviewing was also very easy to do. So it's like the game makes it easy to enjoy what you want to enjoy in the game. So if you did enjoy catching the bugs and doing the bug snack catching, those elements were also really well done and smooth to perform as well. But obviously in the game, I really enjoyed the characters. That's what I like most. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. It wasn't anything super special, but it made me want to find out what's going on. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting is there's a lot of, I don't know if they did this intentionally, it seems like there's a whole lot of callbacks to some classic video games in this, just in terms of storytelling. The game starts off feeling a lot like BioShock, and it even has like a callback to that at the end of the game. I don't think that spoils anything, but from the very beginning, I was like, oh, is this like a parody of BioShock? Then other things start happening. The game as a whole feels a lot like Pokemon with these bug snacks. It's like Pokemon, Pocket Monsters, Bugsnax. And they're all the variety and the cuteness and the clever way that you have to try to get them and collect them. So all sorts of clever things happening here with the game. If you're a longtime gamer that has a lot of experience with the deep library of games, you're going to find little nods here and there, I think are intentional. And then the last thing I want to mention, I really thought the character, what's his name? Chadlow?
Yeah.
Was that such a funny character?
Chandlo, yeah.
Chandlo,
whatever.
sorry, yeah. Yeah, there's like this weightlifting dude. He's so funny. I thought it was just so wonderfully written. He's supposed to be this like bro down dude, but he's apparently also very wise, and he's so lovable and enjoyable to talk to. I wish I could have just talked to him all the time. The other thing I really enjoyed, the names of these characters. There's Trithany and Bethica. Maybe just replace any sound in somebody's name with an F, and I'm going to think it's funny. But I thought that was pretty clever naming. So the game surprised me. I expected something cute like a Pokemon game. I got something really touching, like just a story-based visual novel that I really cared about, and I enjoyed talking to the characters. Adam, what did you like about this game? Because I know you seem to have loved it from what I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, the thing is, you and I, you think that the Bugsnax catching plays second fiddle to the plot, and
Yeah.
I think vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that the main aspect is catching the Bugsnax. That's what they spent a lot of time in. That's where the majority of what I think their time and their thought investment and their cleverness went to. Now, the plot I don't mind, but honestly, the plot I did all the side quests mainly so I could get the platinum. I wasn't there were many of the characters like okay, Beffica, I could care less. Her stuff sucks. Chandlo had a couple funny lines, but whatever. Cromdo was pretty stupid. Eggabell, I really didn't like. Elizabeth Megafig, I like the fact that you're trying to find her. And up until the very end, I was engaged in the plot and I was curious and I really had no idea where this was going to go. Filbo, I kind of like because he's such a loser. Floofty, don't really care. Gramble, I like the fact that he hoarded Bugsnax because I also want to hoard Bugsnax. Grumpus, don't care too much. Shelda, I thought was really stupid. Snorpy, whatever. Triffany, I liked because she was Triffany and Wombus, I liked quite a bit too. And Wiggle, I could take her or leave her, but like they had a couple polarizing characters that I really liked. And I, like I said, really was engaged in the plot until the very end. I did not like the way the game ended. I thought it was disappointing because it was just, I don't know. When you go in and the whole game is just like a what the F am I playing? What is happening? I have no idea what's next. I just expected something bigger, but whatever, it's fine. Like I said, I love the Bugsnax because not only are they so clever, but to catch them all, which I had to do for the platinum, there were a few of them. There were like almost boss Bugsnax. They were like the legendary Bugsnax. A couple of those were somewhat annoying because it was really difficult trying to figure out how to catch them. But there were some like there was one like you're on the mountaintop, not the top tippy top, but close, like sugar something pines. And there was the popsicle, the orange one. And you can catch it on fire, then it breaks up, and you can catch a pop, I think it's a bopsicle. But one of the things is you have to catch a big bopsicle. And I could not figure out how to friggin' do that forever. I still couldn't figure out. I ended up having to cheat and look it up. And
How do
so,
you do it? Spoil that because I caught it accidentally. Thank God. What?
oh, so yeah, what you have to do is you have to get it close to the water. You
Yeah.
have to catch it on fire, run into the water, wait a few seconds for it to like cool down, and then it's still going to break up, but you need to fire off it. And then you have to set up a trip wire, have it trip over it before it breaks up, and then you can net them.
Oh, that's
But
how you get the guys before they break up. I kept melting guys, and then they'd explode after like 30 seconds, and I'd lose them forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's difficult, but that's what I love. The fact you really got to think about it. I think the fact that a lot of them had puns for names I really liked. And they had so many different areas that also were interconnected and close enough that it wasn't annoying to do the fetch quest of, okay, they want 3 different Bugsnax. And of course, they're in 3 different areas, but it's fast enough loading and the areas aren't far enough away to make it annoying. So I just ran back and forth and caught Bugsnax. I loved it. Catching them easily was the highlight of the game. And for my final thoughts of the game, here's the thing. For me, again, at free is beyond awesome. And based on the trailers and the little bit we knew before launch, I probably would not have bought this game. I would have been really intrigued, but I probably wouldn't bought it because I don't know how to make a trailer or convince you that this game is as awesome as it is unless you just play it. Knowing what I know now, I would easily pay full price, $25 for it easily. And then the fact that it was free is incredible. So I encourage you, if you only have a PS4, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, but if you just haven't gotten a PS5 yet, strongly encourage you to consider it. If not, I don't know, because even once you get a PS5, it's probably going to be off PlayStation Plus at that point. But definitely consider this game. It is really good. I loved it. And if Alex and I both like a game based on our differing opinions, then it's got to be a good game. So a big thumbs up from Adam.
Yeah, this game was just a really, it was a delight. I think that was how, if I had to sum it up in one word, it's a delight. It's got something for everybody. Even the parts I wasn't playing the game for, the Bugsnax catching necessarily, I still enjoyed, and it worked very well. And in the parts that I did enjoy, I enjoyed a lot. So that's what was surprising to me, was everything was enjoyable to a degree, and there were some parts that were just, I thought, excellent. Um, Again, like Adam said, it's impossible. I can't think of how you would explain to somebody that this game is worth $25. I could listen to podcasts, people talking about how it's worth the $25 to play it. But yeah, looking forward, before playing this game, I thought there's no way I'm going to finish the game. I'll just play it because it's free and see how it goes. Having finished the game and looking back, I'm thinking, yeah, that's definitely worth the $25 to experience this game. You're not going to play anything like it. You're not going to get anything like it. And it seems so silly. I would love it if there was a sequel. I would love to just go through this kind of thing again. Just if they can do the similar writing, similar character type stuff going on, and then have that Bugsnax and stuff. I'd like to see, maybe not Bugsnax, maybe something else, snacks or bug something else. I don't know. Just this, it's a great idea. They did it beautifully. Hats off to Young Horses. Just wonderful stuff. So Adam, buy, wait for a sale, or avoid forever.
Definitely buy hard.
Yeah, definitely buy, definitely play. If you got a PlayStation 5, dive into this. I know we get some great games, Spider-Man and Demon Souls and stuff like that, hanging out there, Pathless. You got a PlayStation 5. Just check this out. Give it 2 or 3 hours. See how you feel. I almost guarantee you're going to want to see it to the end.
Absolutely, yeah. Of all the games I have, when I was at work, the game I was thinking that I wanted to play, the game I was thinking of was Bugsnax. So that's all you need to know. I'm Bugsnax forever, baby.
All right, Bugsnax forever indeed. Well, that is it for our review of Bugsnax, our discussion of Bugsnax. We will see you after the break in segment 3 with some discussion of some of the games that might have slid under the radar and see how Adam is standing with some platinum challenges. Pathless, Bugsnax. I hope you've gotten your fill of our thoughts on some of these PlayStation 5 games. Adam, let's close out the show. Let's talk about some upcoming games and also just your experience with some of the other games that you platinum. I want to hear about what it feels like to be platinuming games with all your free time on the PlayStation 5.
Dude, it's awesome. So I've got Astro's Playroom and Bugsnax. I got both of them platinum. Neither of them were really that difficult. Astro's Playroom is definitely the easiest first platinum that you can get. Bugsnax is second. Just isn't necessarily difficult, just involves more time and more problem solving. So, but really, both of them were an absolute joy to platinum. Pathless, I would consider it, but it's going to require 1, maybe 2 playthroughs and a lot more time. I don't know if I'm going to have the time or if it's worth it, but definitely 2 platinums I'm proud of. One thing I want to highlight is I was ready to come on the podcast and say Bugsnax is the premier free PS5 game, the one that very few of us knew, but that's the one that you have to play. It is the best free game on the PS5. And then I went and I played about 30 minutes of Astro's Playroom to platinum it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not so sure. Astro's Playroom is so good, Alex. It is so good. Every time I go in there, there are things that are hidden that just blow my knockers off. For example, if you go to the PSVR artifact in the PlayStation Labo and you punch the nose, like they're in the headset, it plays on both of the lenses scenes of Astro's rescue mission. And it's so good. Like Astro's sitting there watching himself partake in this adventure, and the nostalgia comes back. And oh, I remember, fighting that boss, and oh, I remember that level. And there was a connection with Astro there. There was a trophy where in the labo, there was like a table full of trophies. It just looked like a physical manifestation of the platinum trophy, gold trophy, all that stuff. Well, if you pick one of the trophies up, you get a trophy saying, hey, you got a trophy. So clever. I mean, they're the favorite one. My favorite one because they're so good, Alex. They're so good. You can get onto the PS2, jump onto the red gun for the motion controller, and then jump on the Nerf gun looking one, and then jump onto the aim controller. You get to the very far end of the aim controller, which is the highest point in that whole labo, and you get a trophy called Welcome to the Far Point. Brilliant. If you don't know PSVR, a Far Point is the premier aim controller game for the PSVR, and everything, even down to the trophies, is so thought out, so detailed, and so clever. I I mean, I think Bugsnax is very clever, but I don't know if I can think of a game that is more clever than Astro's Playroom. So I don't want to belabor the point. It's an incredible game. You got to play it, but I just think Team Asabi or whatever their name is deserves massive amounts of credit. Now, Alex, rather than me bumbling and fumbling, you ready to talk about some new games that most people probably don't know is out for the PS5?
Yeah, I mean, some of these games I think have already been out on the PlayStation 4 and they're getting PS5 upgrades, but you don't hear much discussion about it. So yeah, I want to talk about this because there's certainly some games that I think are worth looking at again now that they're on PS5. Even if you didn't look at it the first time on the PS4. So yeah, what do you got? Hit me with something, Adam?
So the first one that really, this is definitely, like you said, it was a PS4 game. Now it's for PS5 as well, but it's called Dead by Daylight. And so the description of it is, ever wish to play as one of the characters from your favorite horror movies? Dead by Daylight is a 1v4 multiplayer game that draws from all corners of the horror world, from a powerful slasher to a terrifying paranormal entity. Choose between playing as an unstoppable killer and one of the four survivors trying to evade a gruesome death. Here's the thing. I remember that there is a game, I thought it was just called Friday the 13th, where you play as Jason, and it sounds like the same exact game. One person plays as Jason, and then the other people are like the campers or whatever, and Jason hunts the other people down. I always thought that was a really good game or an idea. I had never played it. I wanted to play it, but you didn't have the game. I didn't know anyone else who had the game. And I feel like to maximize that experience, you need to play with friends, or at least some friends. And this sounds like the same thing, just with different characters. So that's a little confusing, but it still sounds like a game that definitely is up my alley and something that I think is a clever idea.
I think you might already had this game because it was out on the PlayStation Plus for free. So you might have gotten it that way. And I think the upgrade is free to the PlayStation 5. The interesting thing about this is it's one of those games, they've turned it into like a service game. And so they are updating the slasher roster constantly. There's new monsters you can play as, new villains you can play as, like every month or something like that. And they're taking classics like, oh, now Freddy Krueger's in the game or something like that, or this horror movie character is in the game. That's exciting for people that are fans of those films, but then they're also making new creative ones. So I want to play this game, but I feel like it's one of those multiplayer games as a service games that have just left me behind. It sounds extremely interesting, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this game on other podcasts and stuff like that. Maybe we should dedicate like a week or something, Adam, where we just go hog on this game and play it and see how we feel about it. But people that play it really enjoy it. It's one of those #1 top stream games on Twitch too. So obviously there's a people out there, a market for this game. What do we have next, Adam?
This one is real weird. A Gunya Fighter Jiggly Haptic Edition. So, Muton Incorporated are the developers. It's out now. And so, I know very little about this. Essentially, what the description says is the squishy fighters are coming to PS5. Walking 3 steps and you flop over. A squishy punch will knock you off your feet. Still, the fighters get back to their feet. A new kind of party fighting game that allows anyone to casually engage in heated battles is now available on PS5. Don't know much about it. It looks almost like it's made of Legos, or like the sprites are definitely older sprites. It's not like a fighting game you're probably thinking of. It's definitely like older gen type graphics, but it uses the haptic controls on the controller. It's obviously now been prepared for PS5. I sent in for a review code, so maybe we could play it, Alex. Other than that, I honestly don't know if it's a game I would buy to play, but sometimes those are the hidden gems. So do you know anything about this? Because I don't know what Gunya Fighter is.
Sorry, I was muted there. I don't know anything about Gunya Fighter. I will say that the graphics certainly kind of have me suspect because it looks like they're just doing the basic Minecraft graphics.
Uh-huh.
But then maybe they're just really good game designers and they can't really focus too much on the graphics. I don't know. I mean, I know there's that game. I forget what it's called. It was Human Fall Flat or something like that, where you fight and you have these wobbly characters. And I feel like this sounds a lot like what they were going for there. This is maybe trying to beat that to the market. Who cares? Maybe it's good. You know, last time I saw a game like this and I tried to write it off because of the graphics, it ended up being just in time incorporated on the PSVR. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite games there. So maybe there's something creative here. I don't know, but just right out of the gate, it's not looking super enticing except for the price point of $14.49. It's not terribly expensive for an experiment. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So next game we got Man Eater. It's made by Tripwire Interactive, and so this I think was also a PS4 game. It came out in May of this year, but now it's enhanced for the PS5. Essentially, you experience ultimate power fantasy as an apex predator, a shark. It's a single player open world action RPG where you play as the shark. You start as a small shark pup and you're trying to survive the harsh world. You eat your way up in the ecosystem, and then at some point, if you watch the trailer, you're attacking humans and you're like eating straight out normal like big animals. It's almost one of those games that remind me of Evo for the Super Nintendo, where you start out as like a super small organism and you slowly grow into, in Evo's case, it was a dinosaur. Here it's just a bigger shark. But then when you're like attacking people's boats and their cars and you're eating like, I forgot, there was an animal, was it a donkey or a cow or something, like straight up from the air, like you jump up and grab it in the air. And you can do that for humans too. Like it, there's like a serious aspect where it's an RPG, but then kind of like a goat simulator. This is ridiculous, kind of fun type atmosphere going on just from the trailer too. Something I'd be intrigued for. I need to do more research to see, is it just graphics that makes this now a PS5 game, that they enhance that? I'm not sure, but a game that I'm interested in, but I definitely have my doubts. Does this interest you at all, Alex?
Yeah, this game got a lot of positive buzz when it came out on the PlayStation 4, so I was interested in it for that. Now that it's getting upgraded for the PlayStation 5, and I might be looking at other games to experiment and really, tax my PlayStation 5 with, this might be that. Maybe it's got good use of the haptics or something like that, or maybe it's just better frame rate, which might have been one of the issues in the PS4. Either way, it looks like a solid like 7 out of 10 or something like that I would want to play and maybe get some enjoyment out of. Maybe it's a game that would be a good candidate for PlayStation Plus, like a Bugsnax type situation. I don't know, but Tripwire Interactive, they made that the excellent Killing Floor game for PSVR. So yeah, that kind of has me sold a little bit too. So I'm sure there's something fun there.
Nice. Next, we got a couple games from 10 Tons Limited, LTD. Is that what limited? Whatever LTD stands for. So the first one is called King Oddball. And I mean, this one, I'm going to be honest, this one looks real sketch. So the purpose is to end the world with boulders. You swing a boulder back and forth with your tongue as you play as the king, and you release it by pressing a button. And if you time and release the boulder accurately, you crush a ton of targets. You gain points and score. It's apparently simple but addictive. This one, Alex, it's real cheap. I think maybe it was even $5, but I don't know. I don't know if this is a good use of your PS5 time.
Well, if you have PlayStation Plus and you get every game every month like me, you already have this game. So I could probably test it out and let you know how it goes. At least I got it on PlayStation 4. I would assume the upgrade to PS5 is free. I'm certainly not going to drop extra money to get what might be a marginal improvement. So, this game might be good. I can't really tell, but I'll see if I can download it on my PS5 and get that free upgrade. So I'll let you know next week, hopefully, if I remember.
Sounds good. The next game by them is called, I don't, JYDGE. Is it Judge?
It's
Is that
supposed
how
to be
you would say?
Judge. Yeah, Judge.
Okay, whatever, weird. So you're gonna build your judge, enter Edinburgh, and get out alive. It's a lawful but awful rogue hate top-down shooter where you build your own cybernetic judge. So essentially you choose weapons and you can mod your little judge out like a little robot character. And I don't mean like a cute, like it's a legit game. It's not like a cute little robot. I think by saying little, that's a wrong connotation. But then you essentially attack enemies. There's rockets, lasers, electricity, different tools. They're heroic feats. You can get extra medals, unlock new equipment, and then team up for people with local co-op. I don't believe it has online multiplayer, but local co-op you can play. So a game, I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts about this. Alex, does that tickle your fancy at all, or do you think that's not worth your time?
I like cyberpunk stuff. That whole motif. This is obviously going for that kind of Judge Dredd vibe. So there's a lot of things that I might like here. I remember looking at this game, I think around the time it came out, and thinking that might be something I'm interested in. But it also kind of reminds me of the game, I can't even remember its name, that's exactly like this. And I thought maybe it's just coming out to try to steal its thunder. I'll have to watch some trailers. It could be good. It kind of makes me suspect that this company, 10 Tons Limited, is releasing like a handful of games, all for PS5. It makes me think they're doing like a cash grab thing, and like there's not really much effort being put into the PS5 upgrade, and instead they just said, "Oh, it's PS5 compatible now. It's being relaunched." So we'll see. Again, I think this game might have been a PS Plus thing as well, so I'll have to look into it for that. But we'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say is we'll see.
So last game we got Poker Club by Ripstone Limited. I still don't know what LTD stands for, but regardless, it's a typical poker game, but it is PS5 compatible. And the cool thing is that they use the adaptive triggers. Now, obviously, in a very limited capacity because it's poker. But when you look at your cards, obviously they're lying flat on the table, and you bend them to look at them while it's on the table, and the adaptive triggers are used when you bend those to look at the cards, which I think is cool. Very simple. Obviously, that's probably the only time they can use them, but they thought of some way to use them. And so I like that. I like poker. Definitely something to consider if you're a poker guy. Alex, you ready to drop tons of cash? Well, in-game cash?
Not particularly. I'm not, dying to play poker. Like, put it in VR, then we might talk. I don't. It's just, when I was in Japan, I saw a lot of like slot machine PlayStation 2 games. And in my mind, it's like, what is the point of a slot machine if you're not actually going to win real money? Like, you're really just literally rolling the dice, but now you're rolling virtual dice. I don't understand. So it's similar with poker. Maybe there's like an amazing story attached to it. We got a Bugsnax situation going on.
Yeah. I mean, here's what you don't know, Alex, and this is why I'm going to get a poker club, is that your auntie has a PS5 and I have a PS5. We are going to both play poker club. We're going to get in the same room, and then we're going to share our screens. We are then going to do a private Twitch stream to where we play strip poker, but your auntie's right there on my TV as I bulldoze through her and her clothes. That is how, and no one else is going to see because the Twitch stream is private. So that's how your auntie and I are going to play strip poker. And you jelly?
Yeah, I'm jelly. Thank you for catching me when my mic went on mute again. Yeah, play poker with my auntie. Play strip poker with my auntie. Just don't do it on my PlayStation 5, man. I don't need that. I don't need it.
You better not share your screen with me then, because me and your auntie are going to be playing. Okay, folks, like Osteoclast and Osteoblast, we're boned because we're out of time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Stay in touch as we put our content on our YouTube channel, our Twitter, Play PS5 podcast on those. And then our podcast is on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Podcast Addict. If there's anywhere you want to listen to, it's not, please let us know. Tell your auntie, listen to us, subscribe, please rate us. We would very much appreciate it. Catch us next time. Remember, don't play with yourself, play PS5.